that did not go well. Well, here to discuss is New Jersey Congressman and also New Jersey Chairman for the Trump campaign, Jeff Van Drew. Congressman, it's so great to have you here. What was your reaction to that back and forth with Brett Baier and the whole interview? Was it a flop for her?
Oh, definitely. And the only reason that she did it is because they know now they're in a real race. And in fact, they know that I think they're on the losing side of this race. Now, we can't be overconfident. I don't say none of us should lay back. We've all got to work hard to the last minute of the last day on election day. But the reason she did an interview that they trained her for, they worked with her, they tried to do everything they could to make sure that she would do well, and yet she still couldn't manage to pull through and do the job that she needed to do. And this is why. She's not up to the job. She can't answer the tough questions.
You know, you hit it on the head because tomorrow she's apparently doing it with that hard-hitting interview for her with Al Sharpton. What do you make of that? Is that sort of a sign of she's going from Fox News' Brett Baier to Al Sharpton?
Well, now they're trying to recoup. So, you know, Al Sharpton's going to obviously ask her easy questions. He's going to help her. He's going to work with her. He's going to do everything literally that he can to make her look as good as possible. Here's the deal. What's happening now in the country is that people are like waking up and saying, wait a minute, you know, they had a nice Democratic convention and, you know, there were some nice speeches and maybe we thought this would be something different. And they realize it isn't anything different. They realize same old, same old. They realize it's the high inflation, food costing so much, energy costing so much. They realize it's the wars raging around the world and the problems that we have internationally and a bad foreign policy. They realize it's the open borders. And most of all, they realize it's all Kamala Harris. This is her doing. She was there. She's part of it. She did nothing that was extraordinary or of exception ever.
Well, and maybe catastrophic in many ways, because one of the issues, as you know all too well, Congressman, that's at the top of voters' minds is the issue of our wide open borders. And here is more of her interview with Fox News speaking on just why this problem isn't getting solved.
Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions. And they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you,
but actually is focused on fixing it.
You know, it's extraordinary when I see that. I mean, she's forgetting that she's been the border czar. She's not taking any responsibility for not securing our border for the last 3.5 years. And instead, she points the finger at President Trump. What's your reaction, Congressman?
No, I mean, this is simple. It's just fact. When Trump was president, the border was secure, it was closed, it was tight, it was buttoned up. When she and Joe Biden took over, they got some policies that were good and got rid of them. What were they? Well, we had the stay in Mexico policy. Everybody remembers that. So they just couldn't flood our country. And President at the time, Trump, said, no, they've got to stay in Mexico. He didn't have catch and release. He was building the wall, immediately expediting back to the country of origin. Title 42, which was another vehicle we could have used. They got rid of all the good things that were buttoning up our border and keeping our border under control. It's tell the truth time. You can't rewrite history. We had a good border. You came in, you opened it wide open. The problems we have are your problems. So if you want to be intellectually honest, either say, hey, you know, we thought that this is the way to go. We want to see all these people come into the country, and we think it's good for the country to have open borders. I respect that because that's what you did. I think it's absolutely wrong, but you'd be telling the truth. Or say, we made a huge mistake. We really screwed up. And, you know, I'm going to try to fix it now. I want you to still have confidence in me.
Yeah.
Either way, truth.
Yeah, you're right. At least say something, at least be honest, because the American public, we're seeing the numbers and they're staggering. I want to also ask you, I know that you're a Catholic congressman, your reaction to the fact that she dissed the Al Smith dinner. She just put a videotape, which a lot of people said fell very flat.
You know what? It's a tradition. It's for charity. Democrats, Republicans have always gone to this. There's a little bit of fun, a little bit of humor. And I think they were scared. I think they were scared she just couldn't handle it. I'm not sure why, or it either is that she truly just doesn't particularly like Catholics or doesn't like what that Al Smith charity dinner represents. I don't know. I can't answer for her. But again, that's real disappointing. President Trump was funny. He was affable, had a good time. And quite frankly, it's always been that way. All the past presidents or presidential candidates, Republican or Democrat, went. It's a great tradition. And it's a little bit of levity in the middle of a very serious time when you're having a presidential election. That was so unfortunate. I think it was a mistake on their part.
Yeah, I do too. And by the way, I know you know this, but the last person who dissed the Al Smith dinner was Walter Mondale, and I believe he lost 49 states. So it wasn't a good move. Before I let you go, also other big news, Congressman. Jack Smith, his latest filing, and this was sort of the secondary indictment that he tried to put out. The judge, Tanya Chutkan, released it just a few hours ago. And again, it's all allegations. It's tied to January 6th again. And she said, well, I didn't want to interfere with the election. That's why I put it out, which is such hypocrisy because most legal scholars would say, don't put it out for that reason. It's ridiculous. It's mostly grand jury, mostly anonymous testimony. Your reaction to the fact that they put this out, here it is so close to the election, and obviously they're trying to do it to smear President Trump yet again on January 6th.
They just don't know what to do. They are so afraid that we're going to have a president who's going to tell the truth, and it's going to be America first with him. And they're just going to open the bowels of hell. Anything they can do. I'm going to tell you, Rita, I don't know what it's going to be. They're not done yet. They're going to do something else. Last election with President Trump, it was Russian collusion, which we found out was totally untrue, totally a lie, totally incorrect. But they went with it just to try to affect the election. This is what they're doing now. They're doing anything they can. And believe me, if they can use election interference to make the election go their way, they will. I believe it's beyond that. I believe that most Americans who are open-minded, independent thinkers, really starting to look at this. I think it's a backlash to it, actually. Well, real quickly, they tried to impeach him. It didn't work. They tried to take him off the ballot. It didn't work. They tried to indict him. It really didn't work. It didn't stop him from going forward. They convicted him. It didn't work. They are just going to continue to do whatever they can. It's almost the reason, besides all the other reasons, Rita, that you should vote for the man, because something's wrong when you see this big insider bureaucracy so afraid to have someone who's going to be thinking of America and Americans people first.
Yeah, you're right. It very well could backfire big time on them. It is just such a blatant sort of pile-on, and especially so close to the election. It really is remarkable and incredible to see. New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, it's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. We always love having you on.
I love being with you, Rita. Take care.